and his co-host, Frank Otti. It's time to discuss real-life issues that involve parenting and simplifying the two-parent perspective. This is where you can learn the tools to be a better parent by sharing moments to become positive memories. Now, let's join our mentoring and fatherhood team with our New England family of listeners.
Welcome back to Dadurday Radio, where we talk about fatherhood, family, and the little moments that matter. Frank, who's the co-host, and we have our secondary co-host here, Lorelei. Welcome. We have a good topic today that we thought we might talk about, which is, how parents can support their kids and what's important to teens today. So, Lorelei, what do you think is maybe one of the most important things to teens today?
I think a big thing that's important for teens is definitely getting good grades, having good relationships with others, especially friendships, and I think those are big ones.
Yeah, those are really big, right? Friendships, school, sports. These are all things that are going on in kids' lives, and we want to make sure as a good parent, to listen to them, right? And not necessarily lecture, and figure out what they're doing every day, and as you do that, you really start to feel like this is a great opportunity. And Frank, what's your take on this? Remember when you were a teen, right? And that much hasn't changed all that much, right? From sports to academics to friendships, all those things kind of remain the same from my time to your time to Lorelei's time.
Yeah, I'm thinking when I was listening to Lorelei, I was thinking friendships were a big thing. Definitely sports, because the school had sports. You were either going to them or involved in them. And I know this is going to be hard for you to understand, Sean, but the radio was a big thing in my day. Listening to the radio, there was Lawrence Welk on the television, but there was, what is it? It's coming to me. There was a radio station in Boston that we used to listen to all the time. And I think it'll come to me in a moment, but music was very important also. We had a lot of records. So a lot of guys would buy records, and we would share them together. There were another thing maybe you don't remember, Sean. They were 33s and 45s and 78s.
I do. I don't remember the 78s, but I do remember the 33s and 45s.
Right.
And when I think of all of these things, what do you think, Russ?
Oh, I definitely remember 78s because I had a relative who had a good sized collection of 78s when it came to moving her from her apartment to another place. But Frank mentioning a lot of good things, like the 33s and the 45s and everything. I mean, I grew up as well with a good collection of those, and cassette tapes, which eventually would later lead, of course, into CDs. Lawrence Welk, I remember that on Saturday nights, as well as Hee Haw.
Oh, yeah.
It was always the battle between Lawrence Welk and Hee Haw.
That's right.
On Saturday nights, because my mom used to watch Lawrence Welk. My dad was Hee Haw.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Thank goodness for more than one TV in the house.
Yeah, I know. At Lorelei, one of the things, do you know what a 33 is?
No idea.
No idea. So it was a record, right? And you put it on it would spin, right? Like a turntable, and then you could listen to the music.
But it was only one record on there at a time.
Well, that was a 45. A 33 would have the whole album.
Right.
So, and it's interesting because now, right, you can just get something on Spotify, for example, right? Or, some form of a streaming, and that's pretty much how everybody listens to it. Right, Lorelei? You're supposed to speak.
Yeah.
So we're all learning here. So when we think about how we listen to music, which really hasn't changed all that much over time, right? Different types of music, but the truth of the matter is in the end, humans like music, right? And we see this all over the world. And it's very interesting how it's evolved and how we have access to something that was really hard to get when we were kids, right? You had to be able to get an album, you'd go to wait in line potentially, right, for hours to be able to get that album. It was like trying to get a concert ticket, right? Just to get an album. And then you would go home and you would play it and probably not come out of your room for 2 days, you know. But now with the access to everything with social media and that whole aspect of how it's integrated into our lives, it is very important to be able to say, hey, wow, it's amazing how fast this information can come in, but it also goes out just as fast, right? And that's one of the things that at Lorelei's age, right, at 15, to be able to support a teenager who's, you know, learning the ropes to become an adult, is to be able to support that, you have to kind of understand the information's coming in really fast. So you have to slow down to be able to know what's going on in your child's life. You know, maybe one thing is put down the cell phone.
So I'm interested, Lorelei. Give me a couple of names of people, singers or songwriters that you like.
I have a few. I think I like Megan Maroney. I think she's really good.
Okay.
Taylor Swift, of course.
Okay.
Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Zach Bryan. You know.
You like Noah
Noah Kahn.
Yeah.
Noah Kahn's
And
great.
how about Mars? What's the guy? Last name's Mars.
Bruno
Mars.
Mars.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeez. I was drawing a blank there.
yeah, my friend really likes Bruno Mars.
Oh, your friends like them. Yeah. Like him. Right.
So this is what we used to do, is we would share records on the street I lived on. We might talk about them at school and then meet after school and listen to some of that music. Is that how you do it, Lorelei?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really.
Yep.
I mean, I think we kind of just like, we can share like on Spotify, like our playlists, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like,
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. So that was something that was really hard to do in my time, for sure, right? Like we would have, if somebody in our family got a record, I'll give an example. Every night I would listen to Rod Stewart because my sister had the record for Rod Stewart. And unfortunately, I know most of his songs because of it. Not because I ever purchased a Rod Stewart album or ever went to a Rod Stewart concert, but I know my sister did. And because of that, there's only so many records like in your house. So when someone would play one, you'd only have one way to play it, and that was it. So
Interesting. I remember very much when I was 14, 15, and 16 that we would have dances every Saturday night in our local school. I was Catholic, so our church hall, there'd be somebody there with a record machine, and they would play music that everybody liked, and we would do some dancing, we would do some talking. But that's where, and then we would afterwards we would talk a little bit about going out to get something to eat. Do you go to dances at all, Lorelei?
I think it's not as regular, but like I think once a year, like schools have them, but like not like all the time.
Yeah.
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 But, yeah.
Yeah. In my day, I didn't go every week, but I knew that was going on every week in our parish, and it was for free or maybe a quarter, some small amount. But it was the idea that we listen to music together. Now, with the cell phone, we can do the same thing at home, and I think that's a little bit different.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And because of that, I joke from a parenting perspective is, when I was a kid, we'd play kick the can. We would do things in the neighborhood, and now we pay for play dates, right? So it is much different. So how the kids are interacting is important to be able to pay attention to that it is different from the way that you did it, Frank, and the way that I've done it to how Lorelei does it now. In being able to support that, you have to change the way that you think, right? As a parent, hey, this information's coming in really fast. You might want to know what's going on. Things can change quickly. They probably could when we were kids too, but to our parents for sure, right?
Yeah. But
if you're listening to your child, you can see that pattern of how things might, where they're going to go, right? So this is important, and this is a big topic that we want to talk about today, because we want to make sure, or hopefully help parents have a better line of communication with their children, especially teens, right?
Well, one of the things we just did this morning is we tried to get a conversation. And I learned some things about Lorelei, how she understands music. I shared a little bit, how an old timer she is music. Russ talked about how he shared music, and so did you, Sean. I think having a conversation is where this all starts. And that has to be done by who? A father or a mother. Let's have a conversation about this and learn from each other.
We really do. The key there, Frank, was learn from each other.
Yep.
Right? Because kids learn from us and we learn from them.
Yep.
And when you have that form of exchange, you're going to have a positive relationship. If you block that or put up imaginary walls, then it starts to dismantle itself.
I think we want to let our viewers know right now, Sean and Lorelei, that maybe we should call a certain number, 508-871-7000. We'd like to hear what some of our audience thinks about this. How or what is important when you're at the age of 13, 14, or 15, how we understand that as a parent and how we share that with our child.
So keep in mind, we're open to calls at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000.
There's a threat targeting America, one that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin, this dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org. Brought to you by the Stephen and Alexandra Cohen Foundation and this station.
Learn how you can make your retirement exactly what you want it to be. Join attorney Jeff Monfett for Retirement Security every Monday and Friday afternoon at 2. Set the stage for a worry-free retirement with Retirement Security right here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN.
When you're making a decision as a consumer, the most important thing is trust, which is why the BBB is such an important tool. Sometimes a new company will generate a lot of buzz, but that doesn't mean they're trustworthy. There are places that pretend they're treating you like kings, while behind the scenes they're making you look like a clown. But with BBB, if you spot false advertising, they're there to help you blow the whistle. Or if you've got a complaint, file it with the BBB and they can actually help you get it resolved.
Test your advertising IQ
Go to bbbadtruth.org.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie, live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
Here we are on a beautiful Sunday morning, and I want to say the Patriots are playing today. This is so exciting. We're in the playoffs. It is a great opportunity. If we could win, we play the Denver Broncos in Denver. I'll tell you, Denver's a nice city, except for next week if we win today. Right. So one of the things I would really say when we're thinking about the topic that we're talking about today, and it's about winning just like the Patriots, right? Finding a way to win, finding a way to open up lines of communication with your children to be able to enjoy life, for them to be able to enjoy life and be able to feel like, hey, I have the best possible chance with my kids, that they trust me. And that's the area I want to move into now. When I think about this, Frank and Lorelei, like what's important to teens today and how parents should support them is our topic. But how does that really happen, right? It happens over time. It happens with this magic word called trust. And how do we get trust? We get that over time by following through, being where we're supposed to, being present. This is something we talk about in fatherhood. It's part of the 5 principles. It's about just investing in yourself and then that transforming to the people around us, which includes our kids.
Well, when you sit at the fatherhood program on a weekly basis, you're talking about principle number 2, give gentle guidance to my children. I think what happens in fatherhood, we hear this all the time. I don't understand my daughter. She used to sit on my lap. She used to, we would cuddle all the time. We would make jokes together. And she would like to do the things that I'd like to do, and I like to do things that she liked to do. And now all of a sudden at age 13, she doesn't talk anymore. She looks at me and says, her eyes go back, and I just don't understand her. So that is always a big discussion in fatherhood. Giving gentle guidance is understanding a physical makeup of a man and a physical makeup of a woman. And at 13, most young ladies are beginning to discover that they're becoming young women. And I'm curious from that point of view, does that make sense to you, Lorelei?
Yeah, I think it's just sometimes hard for like dads to realize that, like, I think it's easier for them to see that their sons are growing up and not as easy to see that their daughters are growing up.
That's right. That's right. Because the sons are told you now you got to, get some muscles to play football or basketball or whatever that is. And there's a different understanding from the point of view of a young lady in the family. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, I think it's also that, like, they just want everyone to stay the same way it was.
Yeah. So I can, I obviously don't live with you, Lorelei, and I pray for you every day because Sean is your father. But when I was raising and still am raising, or with my daughter at that age, her friends seemed to be more important each day than I was. And I remember the time that this happened. I'm driving her to school, and she says, "Don't leave me off in front of the school where everybody will see me, but leave me off around the corner so I can walk in there." Did that ever happen to you, Lorelei?
I don't think that's ever happened to me. I think I've gotten dropped off, and then, like, I don't even know. I remember he, like, wanted to go in, and I was like, "Why are you going in?" I was like, "What?" But yeah, I think that's probably the closest thing I've done to that.
Yeah. So when you're a father, you got to, I learned to do this with my daughter. If you know who their friends are, you'll have a real good idea of who your daughter or your son is. Tell me, did you develop a lot of good friends, like in junior high or high school, that you still see even today?
Yeah, I've had a friend I met in like 7th grade that I literally hanging out with today. And yesterday. So I think definitely in like middle school, I definitely met a bunch of people that I'm really still friends with today. I mean, I have some friends that I'm met in preschool, elementary school, and still friends with today. So.
Yeah, Lorelei has a lot of friends, so I will give her that. And just to defend fathers, we like to go in and know what's going on.
Right.
So there's a little bit of, we like to make sure that you're safe.
And talk to everyone?
I like to talk to people. I'm known to talk to people.
Yeah, just for 2 hours every Sunday morning, but that's not too bad.
Lorelei wishes that's all it was.
No, we appreciate her being here, and we're going to ask her questions, and she's been so good at answering them from her point of view, and that's what we're trying to get across to our listeners. So if somebody has a daughter or going through, 13 or 14 or 15, or you're waiting to go through that, or you've gone through it, give us a call and let's share some of our information together. Again, Lorelei, you seem to be a very normal young lady. And what does friendship mean to you with the people that you call friends? What's the one thing you look for?
I think I look for someone who makes me feel like I'm valued, like someone who is there for me even like when I can't be there for myself. And I think that's what I need. And then I also try to be like that for others. And I think it's also someone who is even friendly with people that they're not even friends with. Like, I think it's just, I don't know. I really look for people that
I hate to say this in front of your father, but it sounds like the word trust is what you just exemplified, and I couldn't agree with you more. Friends are very important, not only when things are going well, but sometimes when things are not going well. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
All right. Good.
So, and this brings up an interesting piece when Dadurday does a lot of its research on how to open lines of communication, how to maintain those lines of communication. And a lot of that really we learn from many fathers, right? But a lot of this has to do with, starting, right? Getting that ball rolling in the direction that you'd like it to go. And, a lot of that has to do with putting down your cell phone, taking the time out to listen, as Frank mentions many times. There's a reason we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. This is very important to be able to get this whole concept of, hey, I want to build this relationship, right? It's not automatic. And just like Lorelei just said, what do you look for in someone? What does she look for? It really comes full circle on, hey, how friendships are developed. Well, it's the same in parenting, right? Relationships, human relationships are primarily follow the same pattern. And understanding that and what you like and enjoy in life, you can share with others. You also have to listen to others so that you have that opportunity to be able to share their experiences.
I was very fortunate on the way in this morning listening to another radio station, and it was about...
Whoa. What do you mean? There's another radio station out there?
Well...
Because I thought we were at the center of the earth.
I didn't want to upset Russ, but there was another station that I was listening to, and it was on Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And the whole concept of the director of that CEO was to say a lot of children don't have a parent who can converse with their daughter or with their son in a way that is trustworthy because of situations like single parents or a father works 2 jobs, and big brothers and big sisters are there to help some teenagers to get a big perspective. And they talked about this fact. They take them to a place and they show them how to do different things. Have you seen that in some of your friends, Lorelei, that they don't have what you have is a father and a mother that support you?
Yeah, especially going to boarding school, I think you see it more often. Like I have a friend she's a junior in high school, but she has a mom and she's great, but her dad, he just doesn't show up. He hasn't ever really have. Like I have a friend also who's in a year younger than me at my boarding school, and she also, her dad kind of left her when she was really young, so it has an amazing mom. But
and it has like a lifelong impact. It doesn't matter if you're 8, 18, 28, 48, 58, 88, Frank.
Yeah. Excuse me, I was sleeping when you talked.
Yeah. You know that there is, if you had a parent there or not, right? And it's unfortunate that some people are misguided, right? You have a child and then you're misguided. You think, hey, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, guess what? Tomorrow doesn't come. You need to do it today. You have to take the investment. And I would say this to the listeners. Really, I want you to put the time and energy into yourself and say, hey, this is important to me to have these relationships. So I want to just, do a couple of things before. I would like to shift our conversation in the next segment to maybe a little bit more social media based, from trust to social media, because these things do, kind of intertwine with one another. And I would like I'd like to ask the listeners, what do you think parents, misunderstand most about phones and social media? I'd like you to think about that. See you after the break.
Can hardly wait.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
If you missed the Howie Carr Show here on WCRN, you missed this.
I don't think that the Boston Police Department should be going after bank robbers because it affects the police department's ability to interact well with the bank robbing community. These people are out of their minds.
Howie Carr, weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on New England's News and Talk Radio, 830 WCRN.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie. Live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central. 830 WCRN.
So this is Dadurday Radio, and if anyone would like to call in, it's 508-871-7000. And we would like the listeners to be part of the show. If there's some interest, we would love to hear from what our listeners are thinking. And one of the things that we're talking about right now is how parents can support their kids. But, we would like to hear from anyone who would like to discuss this next section, which is really good, I think, which is, social media, phones, and the digital life. A life that Frank didn't have as a kid, right? And I didn't have as a kid either, as it turns out. It's really that new when you think of how everything has evolved over the last 20 years is really when we've seen a lot of social media. So we have a caller actually just came in, Audrey.
Oh, let's listen.
And Audrey, we'd like to welcome you to Dadurday Radio.
Hi, this is Audrey and Charlotte, by the way.
Oh, Audrey and Charlotte. So what do you think about this interesting topic about phones, right, and social media? So, do your parents restrict you to certain times, or do they let you just use it anytime you want?
We used to have limits, but now my parents kind of let me have free range because I know how to handle it. But I understand when people have limits because it's bad to be on it a lot, but it's also a good way to connect with your friends and new people.
Oh, that's great. And so this sounds like it's Audrey and Charlotte.
Is this Audrey and Charlotte's goal? Question mark?
Yes.
Lorelei has two friends.
Oh, thanks, Frank.
So, well, this is great. And, we have limits in our house, or at least the parents think we have limits on our kids. So it's, so one of the things with social media, right? And, I'll ask Lorelei and I'll ask the two of you, as a parent, it's okay to have limits, right? But it's also, we want to guide you guys the right direction. But we also find, there's like a lot of things online that might not be appropriate. Like, how do you figure that out? Like, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate?
I think. Oh,
sorry. I think there are definitely things that influence, like TikTok, for example. You don't really know what's going to come up, but there's obviously also some really good things that are really helpful on TikTok that people kind of disregard because of all the other things on there.
Would you girls agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I would say, for things like TikTok, I feel like you really want to give it to your kid when they're at that age that you trust them to watch, because it really influences, TikTok changes to what videos you like. So it's kind of trusting your kid to want to watch the right things.
I actually agree with that. I think that you should be able to build up a trust that you can give them social media. You should be able to trust them enough for that. And I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, this is the interesting thing when you think about parenting, right? And the three of you, right? Lorelei and Audrey and Charlotte, you guys are all trying to figure out and how to navigate, right? Friendships in high school to, lifelong friendships, like the you guys have had, which is really nice. And then you have, this evolving world, right? That's just constantly turning. And there's a lot of misinformation. We're finding out with social media, or at least parents feel like there's a lot of misinformation there. And then, how do you be able to say, hey, this is good information that I can actually use or have reason to use, right? Versus just saying, hey, I'm going to listen to anything that comes in and it must be true. Like, have you guys really put a lot of thought into that, or do they talk about that at school?
I think you need to go into getting social media knowing that most things you see aren't going to be true.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you see something that you think is true, then you can believe that. But like, it's just something to know in your mind that some things are going to be fake and it's going to not be real.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's
with
just
that.
something you need to like develop as you get older.
Yeah, that's true. It's how you mature. So you have to have in the back of your mind, wait, this might not actually be true, and you might have to look more into it. Or
yeah.
As a father and now a grandfather, my approach to what you're talking about, Lorelei, is I want my children and grandchildren to feel safe on what they're listening to, and I think there needs to be a conversation on a regular basis. It could be at supper. What did you hear today on TikTok? What is it that I didn't hear that maybe we can talk about? And you don't have to do it every day, but let's say Wednesday night is TikTok night.
It's like Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday and TikTok on Wednesday. But I think opening the door for some of that conversation is both a learning thing for myself, and it also helps me to understand where my children are coming from. What do you think about that, Lorelei?
I think that it's fair to think you want to do that, but I think it's going to be harder to get the people to actually do it.
So Taco Tuesday might be easier.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like a long thing, but it just maybe. I like humor, and TikTok has a lot of humor.
Mhm.
So my daughter used to give us some of those TikTok things at dinner. That's where I got that idea, and we did that every now and then. But it's nice to know where your children and grandchildren are coming from, and so you can support them. That's basically what I'm looking at. I always start my conversation with my daughter is, I love you. I don't understand TikTok, but I still love you.
Yeah, I think that something about like TikTok and social media in general is it's obviously a way to communicate for the most part, and I think even through videos and even through things like that, like I will like send, but like even Instagram, like I honestly send stuff to Audrey and Charlotte all the time.
Yeah.
And I think and it could even be through a video, but you still know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So,
and I think especially with parents, you have to understand that it can be something bad, but a lot of kids use it to communicate.
Yeah.
And the point of where kids want social media is usually because a lot of people want it and a lot of people have it. So you feel like you're out of the loop without it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
And
let's
it's like
let's.
most likely for the communication piece too. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask Audrey and Elizabeth.
No, Charlotte. Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yes, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
Charlotte. Oh, Charlotte, you can be Elizabeth. All right.
Okay.
Does Lorelei send you good stuff?
Yes.
Give me
I
an
trained them well.
Give me an example of the most recent good stuff that she sent you.
A lot of it will be like best friend stuff.
Yeah.
That's like really cute and sweet. Like
Yeah.
the best friends that I've been
Yep.
with like
I
for my
mean,
entire life.
we've known each other for like 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. And Lorelei sent me from TikTok yesterday a little dog that was dressed up. It was pretty funny. What was it?
It's a Shetty dog.
Yeah, Shetty dog. So it is a way for parents to also enjoy the same things that the kids are enjoying, sharing these things and giving them something to talk about, right? Because it's really a great opportunity for them to be able to, like we said, communicate, right? And they're doing that through these videos. But parents can also do that with their kids that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you guys share videos with your parents?
My dad sends me stuff a lot.
Oh boy, here we go.
I think another thing about
like dog videos.
You know
Yeah,
how you were
that's
talking
awesome.
about like spending time with your parents and stuff. Actually, I think an example of that I've heard from Audrey and Charlotte is that they watch Stranger Things with their parents.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think
Stranger
that's a really good thing for like anyone out there who wants to like spend time with their parents or they
Yeah,
want to
me and
their
my-
kids.
We like to watch like shows and stuff with our parents.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you guys ever watch Outer Banks? Lorelai loved that.
Yeah.
We used to watch
Or
that.
that with our mom.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I thought I was going to watch a show or something with Lorelai, and she said, "Oh no, there's this book we can read."
Oh yeah.
Lorelai's
Oh,
reading
nice.
this really cool book right now.
Have you ever like read the book or watched the show A Good Girl's Guide to Murder?
Oh yeah, I love that book.
Yeah.
I've read that before. I think.
Yeah. I just started it, so
Yep.
It's so good.
So as her parent, I'm going to try to
Yeah.
support her and read the book
Right,
too,
right.
and try to catch up to her
Yeah.
actually. So
He's gonna try to beat me, obviously.
well, it's not a competition
Oh,
unless
right.
I win.
Yep.
So, just so our listeners will be aware of our two young ladies who called in, it's not always easy for parents to understand where their children are coming from. And I heard them say that at the very beginning, you almost have to say 2 hours a night is enough, or 1 hour a night is enough. You have to get into your homework. You have to get some sleep. You have to do this or that. There has to be sort of a give and take in that. And the more open the father or mother can be, the more open that the daughter or son can be in doing that. So I'm a great believer in we can come to a happy middle a lot of times if we talk about it. What do you think about that, Lorelai?
Yeah, I think that's very much true. But yeah, thank you guys for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you, ladies.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
And you know, one of the things that we're all finding out, right? Friendships are very important. In these relationships, you know, I'd like to underline this piece. Relationships with humans are the same, right? Between friendships and parents and children, right? But even when a child is 15, they still look up to their parents, right? They still, like, I felt like I heard that from Audrey and Charlotte.
Yep.
That they're still communicating with their parents. They're still doing things with their parents. And that is the investment that a parent needs to make. So we'll see you after the break.
Bye-bye.
There's a threat targeting America: Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, this dangerous disease can cause life-changing health problems and is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. So it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside and seeing a doctor if you experience the warning signs, which can include joint pain and flu-like symptoms. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org. Brought to you by the Stephen and Alexandra Cohen Foundation and this station.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
So this year I ordered my prom dress from Shady Deals, and when it came, it said some assembly required.
I ordered these batteries for my digital camera, but the batteries weren't included, so I had to draw all of our family memories.
I ordered a 60-inch TV from Shady Deals. What they actually meant is you can't sit further than 60 inches away.
Be a savvy consumer, research businesses, report false advertising, and settle transaction claims with the BBB.
Test your advertising IQ. Go to bbbadtruth.org.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie. Live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
You know, here at Dadurday, we really enjoy the fact of parenting. We respect that piece of the puzzle, but we also respect our children. And that is the biggest piece of the fatherhood program, is learning how to respect your children, see the world through your child's eyes, and also respect the mother of the children. And by doing that, you start to live a cleaner and better life, and people around you start to respect that, and they want to be more part of that. You know, for me, you know, I look at life as, hey, you know, I go to work, I come home, I want to spend time with the kids, or I want to do something with them, I want to do something with my wife. I want to be able to feel like, hey, we're a family and we get to do stuff together, right? Go on vacation, do different things. So we're very fortunate in a traditional setting, right? When both parents are in the same house. But even in a non-traditional setting, when you have the time with your child, you need to maximize that time. And by doing that, is just taking a little bit of time, slowing down, putting down your cell phone, looking at your child eye to eye. Maybe you're at a hockey game, right, Lorelei? But the truth of the matter is, at the end, those are the things that people remember. Kids are going to remember, but more importantly, what you're teaching them is the skill to be able to get into adulthood, especially in this teenage years, getting into adulthood, how to navigate the world. And maybe if you're good and you're challenged by being a parent and you welcome that challenge, maybe you're teaching your child how to be a good parent. And that's going to be passed on from generation to generation. This is very important in life, because the biggest thing that we're all doing for our kids is helping them get to adulthood and be successful in life, hopefully happy in life. So, Frank, what do you think? I mean, you know, you've had your kids, right? Now you have the grandchildren.
Yep.
And Frank's got a wonderful family. You know, I will say that. I've had the opportunity of meeting them. And when you look at his investment, his entire life, not only in the community and all the great things Frank has done in Merrimack Valley for many people he knows and doesn't know, to bringing that home. He didn't give up his family to do those things. He actually welcomed the community into his family. And I think that that's something that I admire for sure. And it's a real learning process to see somebody like Frank and his investment in life to be able to be shared. And, you know, and I like to think I think that same way, right? I'm not as skillful as Frank, but I will say that it is quite admirable what Frank is able to do and how many people he's been able to help.
Thank you very much.
Frank wrote all that, by the way.
Well, you read only half of it, but that's okay. The best part of what we do here is the name of our radio show, Dadurday Radio. But Dadurday Radio is here because Dadurday Legacy is part of it. And what we mean by legacy is what you've been talking about, Sean, is what do we leave behind when we are not around? And we're trying to create that in our children. I want my children to understand these things. I want my children to experience these things. And that's how a father should be thinking. You know, what is it I can show my daughter? What is it I can show my son that they haven't experienced? And I remember a very wonderful day. We went to Disney World, and my son was a little bit ahead of us because he was running all the time. It was about, I think, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and he heard someone doing some bongo, and he went over and listened to them, and the guy caught his eye, and he says, do you like the bongos? He says, oh yeah. So he sat him next to him, and he says, do what I do. So my son, and then he did a couple of more things, and the man said to my wife and to myself, because we were both standing next to them, you need to get this guy lessons in music.
What a great sales pitch.
All right. So that's what I mean by.
And now Frank went broke.
Well, it was worth it. My son went to Berklee School of Music, graduated, and when he got to Berklee School, he didn't know how to write music. And guess what they did for 4 years? They taught him how to write music. And guess what he does for a living now? He plays the bongos, but he writes the music for movies. Isn't that something?
What a job, too. It seems, such a great job.
So use that experience as fathers to get your children to do something they don't normally do. For instance, and you can go to Boston, different things, Museum of Science, and go there and get a pass from the library and go into and experience some of the incredible stuff that happens there. So what do we do as fathers? Try to expose our children to positive things. And as you said about 500 times, I agree with you, Sean, you need to put the phone down and do some things together. Lorelei, does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah, I think one thing that came to mind was when I was younger. I remember my sister used to ride horses, and that's kind of how I got into it. But I remember he would take me to the barn to go see all the horses, and then I would go on my sister's horse, which was a really cool experience to be able to do that so young. And I was literally probably 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. We did do a lot of barn stuff
Yeah.
when you were younger, because Noelle would go to the barn
She basically lived there.
She did. It was like 3 or 4 hours a day. It was crazy.
Yeah. Or she slept over there sometimes.
Did you ever go to the MSPC in Methuen?
MSPCA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because they have a lot of animals there, and a lot of them to get homes for.
Yeah.
And a lot of them to get animals who are not feeling well, bring them back to recovery. So, and again, that's an experience you don't see every day, but once you get exposed to it, you get a whole different picture of what you can do for animals and what they can do for you.
Yeah, like Aaron's Presence, right?
Yeah, Aaron's Presence, which is a
great
program. Yeah. And Lorelei's done some.
Yeah, Aaron's Presence. It's a very good program for if you want to just do something good for the community. You literally can do whatever you want. Like Leah is so good with it. She lets you do literally whatever you want. So
Where is that located?
it's located in mainly Lawrence, I think.
Yeah, Lawrence, Andover.
Lawrence,
it's going to be in that
Andover.
Merrimack Valley.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's really grown.
It really
I
is.
may have started in Andover, actually.
I think it started in Lawrence.
It did. It started in Lawrence.
Could we have the name one more time, Lorelei?
Aaron's Presence.
Okay.
Yep, with Leah. What's her last
And
name?
what you do is you actually,
What was
um,
it? Leah.
well, people could look it up online.
Yeah, you can look it up
Aaron's
online. Yeah,
Presence.
Aaron's Presence.
But you get to pick the thing that you want to do with someone. So like, for example, if you want to work with, it's all kid driven.
Mhm.
So the kid, right?
Yeah.
not the goat kid,
right?
The child kid.
Thank you.
So the child, gets to pick what they want to do. For example, hey, I want to work with kids and teach them how to play soccer. No problem. Leah sets it up.
Yeah.
You get to do it. She helps you. She helps that child with the concept. Hey, how to pull it all together, how to do it correctly. And then she markets it. And then they bring kids in and you get to teach kids how to play soccer. And
Sean, what do you think about Dadurday in August, inviting her to come to Dadurday?
I think it would be a great idea. Aaron's presence is something that's well established that really could help many fathers understand their children better.
And we love
For sure.
Leah, so
Yeah, she's
I
really
love Leah.
committed.
In case our audience is not aware of it, every August we do Dadurday, and it's a day of an afternoon where there's music, there's a little bit of food, face painting, haircuts for the boys, some wonderful music to go by, and all kinds of activities for children. But Lorelei, if you could get that lady to come there, that would expose a lot of fathers to some very good things that they can get involved in.
actually Audrey and Charlotte also have had experience with Aaron's presence as well. So
No wonder they sound so good on the radio.
Yeah,
all
They
right.
did sound good on the radio.
All right.
You know, we'll have to credit their parents.
I know, right?
And I hope one of them is Elizabeth, so I'll be able to talk to her in the future.
So there's a third child in that household.
I mean, they do have a third child.
They do have a third
They do have
child,
a third child,
but not Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is funny. So when you really pull all these things together, and enjoying life is enjoying your children. So one of the major pieces, and I want to talk about this, say, after the break in the next segment, mental health, and how mental health from parents and their kids, how these things intertwine, and how it's another thing you need to buy into. If you have mental health problems, no big deal. What the big deal is if you don't address it.
Right.
And that's one of the things I would like for us to say, move in that direction.
Sure.
After the break. But, I also want to share a couple of things. One of the things I learned with the radio and with Dadurday and our messaging, in the importance of pulling everything together, we have to have sponsors and donations. And our sponsors, Courtside Legal Investigators, if you need the truth, you ask them for the truth and they will get it for you. And they also overlay it with social work services to get community services to help people be a better themselves. And if they want to work on themselves, Courtside Legal Investigators is the place to be. And their phone number is 781-935-1400.
See you in a couple of minutes.
News, I'm Paul Stevens. 8 European Union countries meeting today after President Trump threatened to impose tariffs on EU nations that do not support his proposed U.S. takeover of Greenland.
A 10% tariff will take effect on February 1st and increase to 25% on June 1st unless a deal is reached.
Fox's Alicia Acuna, the president claims that Greenland is critical to U.S. security. Democrat Abigail Spanberger, sworn in Saturday as Virginia's first ever female governor. Fox's Madison Scarpino.
She says that the history and gravity of this moment are not lost on her. I maintain an abiding sense of gratitude to those who worked generation after generation to ensure women could be among those casting ballots.
Governor Spanberger defeated Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. America is listening to Fox News.
Tired of rush doctor's visits? Are you finding it tough to get a doctor's appointment? And when you finally do, are you in and out before you know it? Did your doctor take the time to ask about your diet or exercise routine? Did they order the right lab tests? And how do you know if these are the labs you need and how to interpret them? Discover the freedom of ordering your own lab tests. Phil George, clinical biochemist and health coach, can guide you on which blood tests to order. Customized to your personal health goals, Phil's extensive training ensures that you receive the best advice on interpreting your lab results and understanding their implications. Plus, by ordering labs on your own, you'll pay far below insurance prices. Looking for an alternative to conventional medicine? Phil George can help you navigate your health journey with a personalized approach. Just email Phil at philgeorge@charter.net for a free consultation. Your health and well-being are within reach, and it starts with the right guidance. Don't miss this opportunity to take control of your health. Reach out today and embark on a path to better health with Phil George.
Dr. Satya Mitra has journeyed from a childhood of poverty and homelessness to a successful career as a financial advisor, motivational speaker, and community leader. Now inspired by his guru, he uses his experiences to positively affect the lives of underprivileged people. We strive to house our blindness, poverty, homelessness, female empowerment, and good citizenship initiatives within the Joy Guru Humanitarian Center. If you wish to contribute or know of deserving persons or initiatives that could use our assistance, please contact us at 508-641-8441.
End your day on a high note. It's North Star Music. Evenings at 8 on Radio Central WCRN.
WCRN, Worcester, Boston.
Welcome to Dadurday Radio with WCRN's parenting guru, Sean Burke, and his co-host, Frank Otti. It's time to discuss real-life issues that involve parenting and simplifying the two-parent perspective. This is where you can learn the tools to be a better parent by sharing moments to become positive memories. Now, let's join our mentoring and fatherhood team with our New England family of listeners.
So here we are at Dadurday Radio on a beautiful Sunday, waiting for the snowstorm to come in and for the Patriots to pull it off and get to the AFC Finals. Oh, is it snowing already? How do you like that?
I'm looking out the window and I see those white little things coming down.
So, when you're playing a team like the Texans, Mother Nature's helping us out, right? Because they're used to, hey, it's pretty nice and sunny there. And now they have to come into our house and play in the snow. Yeah. And they may not be used to that.
It was 50 degrees in Texas this morning when they left, yesterday morning when they left, and it's going to be probably around 23, maybe 22 by the time they start playing this afternoon. So that will have an effect that will be positive for the Patriots, but not so positive for the Texans.
And one of the things I'll say about that, Frank, is that they probably left Texas with their winter coat on at 50 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Good luck.
So let's get back to what we were at, and I think you were going to talk a little bit about mental health. So why don't you start that conversation?
Well, I want to start it out as really what we're talking about today is what's important to teens today and how parents should support them. And under that, let's talk a little bit about mental health, because mental health is just an everyday problem in most people's houses, if not everyone's house. So this is something that, hey, may affect our house, but also affects my neighbor's house, right? So, and what does that really mean? Primarily, everything that's going on in your life is probably happening over at your neighbors, right? In one capacity or another, or over time. So when you think about mental health, that's not something that somebody can necessarily control, but you have to embrace it to conquer it.
Let me give our audience an understanding of that. When I was growing up in Lowell in the 50s, anyone who had a disability, we're talking speech, hearing, sight, physical, or mental health issues, they were always kept at home. There were no services for those people who needed it in a way that the services are evolved today. And I think I want our listeners to hear this as loud as I can say it. If you have mental health issues, there are agencies in every city, in every town that can help you immediately to make some connections. So that's the big picture, I think, of mental health. Our schools try to do that. Communities try to do that. And this radio station believes strongly that mental health is a challenge. And it's a challenge, as you said, in many families, but there are places to go.
And one of the things is, how do you support your children who may have mental health problems?
Right.
And one of the ways to do that is, one, to take them to the doctor so that if they do need medication, they can get it. But the other side of that is making sure that they take it, right? Because usually medications, they say, hey, you have to take in the morning. You know, I know this even from the social work business. Many of my clients have difficulty taking it on time, you know, very consistently. And because of that, that can cause inconsistent behavior, right? So it's, if you can reverse that clock a little bit, if you just take the medication at the same time every day, typically you get a lot more consistency with it. And that's, you know, an important piece. Now, how do you do that? Well, maybe set your alarm to help your child. Instead of just saying, hey, you know, you were supposed to do this, or which we'll say is lecturing, right? Versus supporting and listening, saying, hey, my alarm went off, it's 9:30 or whatever. And, you know, this is the time you usually take your medication. You know, have you taken it yet? That's a whole different approach. And it's important approach.
Absolutely. I know that Lorelei is aware of these things, but it's not in every family. And what has been your experience of working or having friendships with families that have mental health issues from your point of view, Lorelei?
Well, I mean, I have one of my own, but we can talk.
We all do. We all do.
But being friends, people that have, I feel like, I mean, a lot of my friends do, but I think, because of the school that I'm attending right now, but I feel like they don't have a lot of like families that have like that take medications and stuff.
But if you think about it, right, this is at every school, not just your school.
Yeah.
People, and I'm going to give an example. Finian, who is Lorelei's oldest brother. Okay, so he's number 2 in our family, child-wise. So, and he, we take him to WPI for a summer program. And the line for kids taking medication,
it's crazy,
was 3 times longer than the line to get into the program.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
It was crazy. And I was just like, whew, we are so lucky we don't have to stand that line. But I couldn't believe the amount of people. Just say they had 100 people, probably 70 of them had some form of medication.
Well, it's normally morning meds. Like I remember at my school, like they have like morning meds line is the longest line.
Yeah.
That or night meds are the longest line. So,
well, in the thing is it's to show you there's nothing wrong with people addressing their issues, right? And people are embracing it. They're willing to stand in those lines, right? And they're willing to get it done. And we as a culture should embrace that, because it's making all of our lives better when people can think more clearly.
I have a great example of that. Richard Cardinal Cushing, who was the Bishop of Boston when I was a young person, started a program in the South Shore of working with a lot of children with disabilities. And somebody asked him, where can children with disabilities go for a summer program? And he started back in 1954 a program called Fatima. And Fatima, the program was called Exceptional Children's Week. And it was very successful because people came from all over Massachusetts. And today, I've been there myself for many, many years. My daughter's been there, my son's been there, my wife's been there. And what happens is we have breakfast, and the next thing that happens is get in line for your meds. And that's what we would do 3 times a day. All the people that were there, and guess what? Some of the counselors also had their meds to get. So we make it normal to use medication because it is helpful. And that's what we want to make our listeners aware of. Mental health is as important as physical health, and they need to be side by side and working together. Many of the fathers in the fatherhood program have experienced that in their families, and they are so determined to make sure that child or those children in their family get as many options as other children do. So that's a big change from the time when I was growing up to what it is today. I work for a place called Children's Friends and Family Services. Their specialty is working with children in their home, in their school, in their community who have mental health issues or challenges, and support the family totally. So
one of the things I'd like to really underline here is that mental health is not a weakness, right? It really isn't. And people feel that way because when you have heightened anxiety, right? And I see this over at the courts a lot.
Yeah.
When there's heightened anxiety, people might say things that they shouldn't say, right? Which is, well, your mental health is the reason why our relationship isn't working out, or whatever the case is. And that's probably, maybe you could say there's some truth to that based on what the person might be saying, because it can be spun that way, right? It's like social media, right? Like it's when it's convenient, it's very attack driven.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is mental health is just part of being human, to be honest with you, right? And if you lived in a different country, you may not even take medication for those things. But there's also different results when you don't take medication. In America, we're fortunate to be able to have access to medications. So because of that, we do try to make things better.
Like, you don't have to take medication to get better. You can also go to counseling or therapy that will be better.
Yeah. And your mom talks about exercise all the time.
Yeah.
Like she has many friends that have mental health problems that have chosen not to take medication, but to exercise. And that has really worked for them.
For me, at least, too, like going on walks and runs and stuff really helps.
Yeah, that's that. And all of those things are important for not only building relationships, right? You can use it for all of that. You can, really rein the things in. And I want to say, we're going to go to break, but we want to continue this conversation because this is a major foundational piece to success with children.
I couldn't agree with you a bit more.
Looking for a station that brings you all sides of the story? Tune in to 50,000 watt powerhouse WCRN, where the left and the right meet in the middle. Whether you lean left, lean right, or just want to stay informed, WCRN has you covered with diverse voices, lively debates, and thought-provoking discussions. From politics and health to pop culture, you'll hear it all right here. Radio Central, where opinions from both sides come together for the conversations that matter. From the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central.
WCRN Radio is thrilled to bring back a legendary voice, and now you can help tell the stories. Paul Harvey captivated millions with his unique style and unmistakable voice. By sponsoring the rest of the story, your brand can become a part of this rich tradition, and it links your business with a program that people love and trust. So don't miss this unique opportunity to grow your business while becoming part of something truly special. For sponsorship details, just go to WCRNradio.com.
The U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other nation, yet ranks last in health outcomes. Most doctors see 2,000 plus patients and spend under 15 minutes per visit. That's not care. It's diagnose and adios. You deserve better. Join biochemist and health coach Phil George on Wellness Way Radio, weekends at 7 a.m. for real science, real solutions, and a better path to wellness. Contact Phil at philgeorge@charter.net. Your health revolution starts now.
Attention podcast enthusiasts. Are you tired of recording in cramped, poorly equipped rooms? Use WCRN Radio Studios. Our state-of-the-art facilities and experienced technicians will elevate your podcasts to new heights. With soundproofing, high-quality microphones, and advanced editing software, you'll sound like a pro in no time. Record in WCRN Radio Studios and bring your podcasts to life. Simply visit WCRNradio.com and click the podcast link. That's WCRNradio.com.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie, live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
So here we are at Dadurday Radio, where we talk about the little things that matter. And we're talking about mental health and how we can support our children, and how teens, Lorelei and her age group might look at some of these issues. They're important issues because they really do affect everyone's everyday life. So this is one of those things that we find if we put the time and energy in, we can really get the positive outcome we might be looking for. And anyone who would like to call in and share their story with us, it's 508-871-7000. Again, 781-871-7000. We'd love to hear from you before the Patriots game. And I guess they're in the snowstorm because it's snowing right now. So it'll be an interesting ride home. But it's the Patriots in the snow. It seems like things are starting to line themselves up for us here in New England. So what do you guys think? You rooting for the Texans or the Patriots, Lorelei?
Where do you think I live?
If you want to ride home, Lorelei, you better answer it correctly.
All right, so all the colleges in Texas are out now for Lorelei.
Yeah, I'm a freshman. Calm down.
So when you think about this and mental health and, how it's really a foundational piece in most people's homes, when they're thinking about how they perceive others within their household, right? And how mental health might impact that, and how you may approach something with someone who has a mental health problem versus not, and why medications might be so important within a family structure for things to succeed.
I think you have to keep in mind when you're interacting or talking with someone, when you know they have a mental health issue, you should always remember that in the back of your mind when you're interacting with them, because to make it easier for both of you when you're having interactions.
Yeah, so the big thing here is what I feel like you're saying is be kind.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the gist.
Well, what Camp Fatima taught me all these years is I have to be myself. And guess what? The person I'm talking to will pick that up and they will be themselves. So I'm not afraid to talk to somebody with mental health issues because I'm not afraid of myself. And that's part of it, Lorelei. And what happens is once you meet someone that has issues, and we all have issues, by the way.
You do?
Talk to my wife. She says I'm still working on some of mine.
I think my wife doesn't say that.
Oh, no.
Well,
she does. Don't worry.
We'll talk about your wife later. She's a wonderful lady, by the way. But what I'm talking about is mental health is a part of our lives now. And it helps me to be myself. When I go to that camp year after year, I'm always thinking of this. I get much more out of that camp than I think they do, because I can be myself every day. And they can ask me a question and I'm going to answer it from my heart. And that's how they answer everything. They say, I love you. They mean it. They say, I want to go and get my meds. They mean it. They say, I want to go swimming. They mean it. I want to go horseback riding. They mean it. And they say with enthusiasm.
And Frank, what's the population? Who goes to Camp Fatima?
Who goes? We average 175 campers every year and 175 counselors and then 150 staff for 1 week for the last 62 years.
Are these individuals who get to go to the camp, they actually get to go for free?
Absolutely, positively free.
That's great. And they have some form of a disability?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you have a disability and you have a child who would like to go to a camp, maybe take a look at Camp Fatima, where they have 40 or 50 years of experience in this, and they've just been doing wonderful things for individuals in our society who really need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are many camps that do that, but this particular camp only takes campers who cannot make it into a regular camp. That's the distinction. So we have people there who have all kinds of disabilities or all kinds of challenges. And at the same time, they're some of the funniest people you're ever going to meet.
Can I send my 4 children?
One at a time, because you have, 4 different children. We can only handle one family at a time.
Yeah.
One family member at a time. But
Frank knows my children.
Yeah, well, I've met a few of them. I was interviewed by your son not too long ago, and I want to say, thank goodness he's not like his father. Very few words, and he gets right to the point right away. So I'm exaggerating a little bit.
I probably suppressed him by all my talking. He doesn't get a chance to get a word in, right?
He's learned from you, that's for sure. So anyways.
So, Frank, I have a question.
Yes.
So, do teens today have it harder, easier, or just different than when you were younger?
Well, this is what I've learned. When I was in the 50s, a 15-year-old, I thought Elvis Presley was the greatest idiot I ever met as far as music goes. A
lot of guys did, but not women.
Every time you said his name, girls would faint in front of me. And I had said, I want to know if I can capture that. What has changed? I don't think very much has changed. It's the same challenges that I had to go through. Become and discover who I am, have good friends, set some goals that I can attain as far as education goes, be honest with my family, that I was the oldest of 5. I had to take and set the tone for some of the family. And sometimes I was awful, and sometimes I was not too bad. And I think those challenges for youth today are the same. The thing that makes it different is you can know what a child at 15-year-old is sitting here in today, the very wonderful Lorelei. And at the same time, you can listen to Elizabeth, who could be on the other side of the world going through the same things that she's going through. That is something I never experienced as a child. And it has some great positives and some great challenges. And I think that's the goal of a father, to try to work with the child to understand there's more things than just that phone, but it's very important. And it helps you to be a better person.
The world is smaller, right?
Yeah.
With social media has done that, right? It's made the world smaller. It allows somebody like Lorelei to speak with somebody from Japan potentially, right?
Yeah.
And the access is there if she chose that she wants to.
Yep.
And she's probably watching videos, right? I would think some videos from all around the world.
Yeah.
About dogs and different things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Dressed up dogs.
But, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
who has the time to
Yeah.
dress
And
up
this
their
is
dogs?
this is what
Put
this is
them on
what's
social media, but I guess there's a lot of people.
Yeah, but this is
are
what is
very
so
talented
great
at this.
about this is she can find people who have the same interests she has in other countries, and that's really cool. I found it through going to that camp that there are a lot of people who don't have what I have, but they need me to be part of their life. And guess what? I need them to be part of my life. So I learned it through that camp. But nowadays, you can learn a lot of things if you use your phone properly. And if you have friends that are I want it to be safe for children to be on. When I say children, I mean younger than a Lorelei. Lorelei is a very smart young lady, but a lot of children don't know how to use the phone. And we should have a lot of Lorelei's teaching younger children to do that.
You're really right about that. And Aaron's presence, as Lorelei brought up earlier, is a great opportunity. And there's many programs just like them that are doing wonderful things for kids to teach other kids something.
Yep.
And the interesting piece of this whole puzzle when we're piecing it together is, what is going to be your role? Where are you going to be in a world that was very small when we look back, right? You and Lowell, me and Medford. We didn't really, what we knew was somewhat around us, right?
I mean, for me, like social media, I know we're talking about how like it makes it a little smaller, but I think that I have the knowledge that I've actually learned from social media, which is kind of crazy. But I learned that like from different influencers I've been watching who have been making good impacts on like young like women and like trying to like teach them all the things that they know. And I think that's really like the good part of social media.
It's one of the things you seem to like about Megan Maroney, right? Is because her songs are driven.
Or Spencer Roboso, who's another influencer. She's great.
Yeah. And these are influencers who are providing a message that young teens can relate to, and it's a great forum, especially if the individual lives the lifestyle that they preach, right?
Well,
that's another big piece of the puzzle.
I want to add to that on the building blocks of what you two have just said. We need to hear from more Lorelei's in this radio program and in the fatherhood program, because they're trying to find a place in the future, and they're in the present right now, and they're trying to make choices. So as a father, I want to support all kinds of positive things, and I think that's what Dadurday Radio is all about. We want to push the positive and be aware of the negatives.
Yes, and we're going to talk about great topics that affect everyone's lives in one capacity or another. And some of these things can be really hard. And I want to say, anyone's welcome to call in at 508-871-7000. Again, that's 508-871-7000. But I'm also going to share with you that we're on YouTube live and under Dadurday Radio, WCRN 830 AM radio. And this is, something we want to share with you, and we would like you to share your story with us. So we will see you after the break.
Go shovel the snow and come back.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Perner Logging and Land Clearing. Fully equipped with state-of-the-art equipment to handle all of your lot and land clearing needs, whether it's 1 acre or 100. They regularly service customers in the local area and will travel to neighboring communities and beyond to get the job done. And whether you're doing new construction, renovations, or clearing land for a new development, the Perner Logging and Land Clearing team of experienced personnel makes small or large jobs run efficiently, giving them the ability to always keep the competitive edge. They'll quote your job from something small to hundreds of acres, factoring in all aspects, including the wood salvage value, if any. In addition, they have the right equipment for each size job, making for the most efficient job site possible. For every job, Perner Logging and Land Clearing make sure the client's goals are the main objective. Call Perner Logging and Land Clearing today for a free estimate, 978-270-9916. That's 978-270-9916.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie, live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
So here we are at Dadurday Radio, where the little things matter most. And today we're talking about a very interesting topic where we're understanding our kids, right? And being able to support them in the things that they want to do. To maximize these relationships, we have to do certain things, right? And we have to invest our time, put our cell phone down, look our kid in the eye and have a conversation. You know, earlier we talked about Taco Tuesdays and Instagram Wednesdays or something at dinner. So
TikTok dinners.
TikTok
on
dinners.
Wednesday.
TikTok dinners. So, but you know, maybe that is, you know, a great idea Frank brought up, because just being able to share your own experiences with TikTok or Instagram or, you know, Facebook, whatever. Oh, did you see this? Or did, you know, just to open up that conversation. And, you know, sometimes when I've opened up this conversation, like Lorelei recently sent me, you know, a dressed up dog that was running around.
Keep bringing this up.
I do keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Well,
I send it to you for your client.
Oh, yes, you did. Yeah. One of my clients loves these Shetlands.
Shetty dogs.
Yeah, Shetty dogs. And so I said to Lorelei, if you could send that to me, I'm going to send it to my client. And my client was very excited to get it. And she wanted to know who dressed the dog. So that part was really good. So I was kind of thinking, you know, let's look at some different perspectives on how we may look at things, right? You know, one of the things that I think might be, why don't I ask the two of you guys say a question, right? And then maybe you could finish the sentence. Might be kind of fun, right?
Okay. Okay, let's give it a shot.
So I wish my parents would stop.
Should I answer this first?
Yeah, sure. You
Okay.
go first, Lorelei.
Okay. I wish. Okay.
Nothing.
No.
She has a
no,
perfect
that's-
life.
that's
She must
not-
have perfect parents.
No. I would say I wish they would stop comparing their life as a child to mine now.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. Yikes.
All right, Frank. What
Hey,
do
just being honest.
Yeah, when I was Lorelei's age, I wish my parents would stop asking me where I'm going on my bike. I used to take trips maybe 4 or 5 miles from the house with a couple of friends. We would just go there and find out what's going on in that town and then come back. And my mother says, you're going to get hit by a truck. I'm going to go to your funeral. And
I've gotten that a few times.
Yeah. And I want you to live past the age of 9. So that was what I would, I didn't want my parents to control everything that I was doing. And that, I'd say that was about 15 at that time, but I didn't know in those words. It was like I wanted to be myself. And I got in trouble for doing that. But when I rode my bike, I felt very free. And we never had that discussion at our house about that. You can't use your bike if you're going to go places that we don't know.
So very interesting. I feel like I although there's a little age difference between the two of you, relatively the same types of things are we can relate to both, right? And time maybe hasn't changed all that much on when you think about, hey, I wish my parents would stop something. But why don't we go the other way?
Okay.
I wish my parents would start, and then finish that sentence. Frank, why don't you go first this time?
Wow. Yeah. I always look for some direction. And one of the things that I wanted my parents to start is what can they help me with the future? What is it I can do in the future that they can support now? And I, at that time, was thinking about going into the priesthood, and I didn't know about seminary life and all that, but I wonder what my parents felt about that.
All right, Lorelai.
I think something that I would want them to start is this is something that would be kind of interesting to do, if that's okay for me to say. I thought it would be kind of interesting if we sat down and kind of thought about my goals for a bit. That would be kind of cool, things that I'm wanting to do this year, because I know I've done it for myself already, but I thought it'd be nice for you to know kind of things I want to be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So listening sounds like it would be a good thing, right? And then learning more about your goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. And I'll write that down and let you know what your goals are. No, I'm just kidding.
Wonderful.
So, because that's how parents think, right?
Yep.
Well, I'll let you know. But what we're learning here is kids look at this differently, right? They want a voice, right? That's what I just heard from Lorelai. She wants to have her voice at 15, and she wants to be able to set her own goals.
Because if you don't get your voice sooner than later, then you're never gonna have one.
You're right. And it empowers you to be able to be independent and hopefully go into adulthood and be successful.
Yeah. One of the fears that I hear in the fatherhood program is when fathers start saying, I want my son to be just like me. That's a danger right there. We're all unique human beings. Just look in the room. Sean.
I don't know what you're
Lorelai,
talking about.
Frank. All right. 3 distinct human beings. And in a family of 7, that's what we were growing up. There were definitely 7 different people living in the same house. And that's pretty cool. That doesn't change. And goals are very important. And it's good to say to your children, what is it that you like to do? What is it you've thought about? My son always had to do with music. My daughter wasn't sure what she wanted to do. She said, I want to get to college, and then by then I'll be able to make up my mind. And he had his mind made up when he was like 12 years old. 2 different approaches.
I've had my mind up since I was in 5th grade.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
So
what have you made your mind up since 5th grade?
It's not completely made yet, but I definitely want to go into education, and definitely elementary, but some special education or just a elementary school teacher.
So you want to give back to the community?
Yeah.
And you want to be a teacher?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Maybe we should take her to camp sometime and visit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that and visit it. Wait till you see it. It's incredible what goes on at a camp that is, focuses on the child. They want them to have fun. They want them to be safe. They want them to be healthy. They want them to be part of a group. And that sounds like something that I think Lorelai might be interested in.
Yeah.
So as fathers, we need to ask those questions. What is it? What are some of the goals you have? And say, once you hear it, do what I just did. What you come and visit this place that I think has some of that stuff, look at it, and so on and so forth. You don't have to make up your mind right away, but some children think about this earlier and others think about it later. And both my son and daughter are very happy at what they're doing. They just came at it at a different time in their lives. My daughter didn't know what she was going to do, and she went to school for how to use a camera. And she is an incredible photographer. She's working now and has completed her master's to work with children on the spectrum, and has done that because the camp that she went to, she ended up with campers who were on the spectrum, and she got interested. And her best friend ran a place for that, and she hired my daughter. And so that's the kind of things that we have to trust our children to be able to make those choices.
Well, having your child find their path, as Lorelei said, right, to have a voice and set your goals. It's for us as parents to help them get there, right? And that is, as you say, Frank, maybe offering something, doing a little research, finding out what might align with that, and how you can support your child, what your child's saying, right, and what those goals are. So when you pull all that stuff together, you want to make sure that you're a part of your child's life. That's how you're a part of your child's life. You can't just tell them, hey, this is what we're doing, right? That's what you do when they're 4, right? But when they're 14 or 15, you have to give them that voice. You have to allow them to decide if they want to potentially play a sport or whatever they may want to do, right? And the more that they can come into themselves, the more powerful they will be in this world, right? As a person. And that's not something, you don't need money for that.
Right.
Well, to be able to have that confidence and provide that to your child is something that they can pass on to the next generation themselves.
The word you're looking for, and we talk about in the fatherhood program, is persistence.
Yes.
That's what gets you to your goal.
Persistence and consistency.
Yep. And that is, if you can instill that into a child, you can do. It's almost like I work a lot with people in recovery. That is, once a person is in recovery, there's nothing they can't do. Well, once you're a child of 15, you should be told there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it.
And it's true.
It's true.
One of the great things about living in America is opportunity.
Yeah.
And that has not changed.
No.
If you listen to social media, sometimes you feel like it has, but it has not changed.
Right.
And I hope our listeners are hearing today that when Frank was a kid to Lorelei being a kid, there is many similarities, which opportunity is also one of those similarities. And we want to make sure that part of Dadurday is about having the opportunity to communicate and enjoy your family.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
If only we were born knowing how to plan for life's big expenses. Brought to you by TIAA.
Saving is absolutely key. What happens if you want to buy a house? That can be a big chunk of change. Good thing we're thinking about it now. Inspection fees, closing costs, escrow. When I'm eyeing that mid-century modern, I want to strike while the iron's hot.
Whether you're looking to save, invest, or plan your retirement, let us help you start planning today at TIAA.org.
Hey, can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I'm here for the minivan sale.
Oh, that's actually just a bait and switch ad that we use to get you here to buy a more expensive vehicle.
What?
I can get you a low monthly payment with hidden fees, to exploit your ignorance. Or I could undervalue your trade-in. Let's go get that paperwork started. I've got a terrible deal for you.
Don't you wish false ads and scams were this easy to spot? Test your advertising IQ. Go to bbbadtruth.org.
When you make radio central in your life, you're always in touch with the world. for the latest news and weather and lively conversation to make some sense of it all. Stay with Radio Central 830 WCRN and WCRNradio.com.
Never miss any of your favorite programs on Radio Central WCRN. For on-demand replays of this and other shows, visit WCRNradio.com.
Think you're dealing with drug poisoning, chemical poisoning, food poisoning? Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Headline news, weather, and local information. 830 WCRN. Headline news, weather, and local information. 830 WCRN.
Now, Dadurday Radio continues with Sean Burke and Frank Oddie. Live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio, Radio Central. 830 WCRN.
So here we are at Dadurday Radio, a place that welcomes all. And I'll also say that one of the things I would like to think about today's show is if there was one thing that we'd want to remember from today's show, what do you think, Frank? What should that be?
I like that question. I think having a conversation is a phrase I like to use a lot when I'm working in counseling and when I want to talk with my children. And they laugh because I use that phrase. I'll say, let's have a conversation about whatever is going on in the house. And let's see if we can come to some solution, direction in it that involves what you're thinking and what I'm thinking. And let's see how we can put those two together. If no other reason than just to talk to each other as a father and daughter.
I want to pass this torch to Lorelei. Lorelei, what do you think maybe one small thing a parent could do this week to better support their teenager?
I think one thing they could do is they could suggest to do things with them. Like maybe watch a movie, like you want to watch a movie tonight, or do you want to make dinner tonight? Do you want to do all these things? You could literally just like say they come home from school, be like, ask not just like how was your day, like asking other questions about it than like what did you do in this class, what stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion, Lorelei.
Just like sometimes you come in my room and you'll just like start talking to me.
Yeah, I don't give you much of a choice, right?
Yeah. So I mean, hey, if it works, it works. But yeah.
I like what you said, Lorelei. My wife did not know how to cook when she was 15 years old, and her mother was made a lot of good food that she liked. And guess what my daughter did? She bought a recipe book to give to my wife, her mother, to write all the recipes that she likes so she could pass them on to her. And they do all the time. Yeah. They love to do cookies and cakes and things like that together. And so food is a good thing to bring families together.
Yeah.
And I think you've heard me on the show before when I go see Finian out at Lehigh. We go out for dinner before his hockey game.
Yeah.
And it gives me a chance in 45 minutes. I feel like it's speed dating, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever you'd call that with kids, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Parent time, I guess, 45 minutes. And he gives me a quick rundown of everything that's going on. And I have to say, like, it's so fulfilling as a parent to be able to be like, hey, this is, what's going on in his life. And I really feel like he allows me to be part of that in that short period of time. And it works out great.
It took him like 10 years, but he finally did it.
Lorelei,
food did it.
Some brothers are slower than others. But you know, when you have something in common, you don't mind talking about other things because we have hockey in common, we have food in common, we have the movies in common, we have books that we read in common. That brings parents and children together. And I've seen magic in the fatherhood program when the fathers say, wait a minute, you think my son would like to go fishing? Have you ever asked them?
Yeah.
And that comes up. And I love when we're in groups, we'll have a lot of Lorelei's in the group and a lot of Sean's in the group and a lot of Frank's in the group. And we trust each other and we talk to each other. And I think that's one of the things about fatherhood that I like is we can learn from each other.
So in fatherhood just started last week. Our next group, which is a 12-week group for fathers to learn how to be better parents.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the things that we say right from the beginning, you know, we're all parents, but only society put us in this and labeled us as a father or a mother. And in the end, you have responsibilities as a parent, and to embrace them will really open up a lot of doors for you.
So this week, fatherhood is going to be talking about principle number 1, give affection to my children. And Mike is going to be the speaker. And Mike has some great stories about himself, about his family that he's going to share on that topic. And he will get the other fathers to talk about that. So what we're going to do each week here at radio, Dadurday Radio, is give you a little glimpse of what's coming in the regular week. So we had 13 guys. 2 of them were one was ill and the other one had work things to do. But we got a core group of guys, and it's not as exciting as this radio station, but really
it's pretty exciting.
Pretty close.
It really is. You know why? Because these are individuals who have chosen to change their life.
Yeah.
And we're a part of that, which is great. And, you know, this brings up another issue because we hear this in fatherhood all the time about, you know, other things that happen in their lives that somehow have affected their ability to parent. And that has been an invisible wall that has surrounded them. Maybe they bought into stereotypes or what other people have kind of led them to believe, or they've exposed other people have exposed their weaknesses. But the truth of the matter is your strength is always you. And when you realize your strength is you, then the people around you start to realize that their strength is themselves as well. And this develops a very strong foundation in life to say, hey, you know, I want more. I can accept more. And not only does the mother of the children pick up on that, but your kids will pick up on that as well. Yeah. And you have to really make that investment. And that's what fatherhood's really about. And hopefully that translates to somebody at Lorelei's age, mm-hmm. right? To be able to say, hey, I can allow her to have that voice that she's talked about earlier.
I think it also at like your teenage ages, you have to have someone like a role model to look up to, because that's what you're going into. You're going into adulthood, so you need to have something to like. Oh, this is like you need like a parent needs to be able to be already to grow and to be grown for their teenager to grow.
Yes, you have to grow together.
Yeah,
right. But the father or the mom, right? Mm-hmm. They have to have the confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
To be able to welcome that mm-hmm. voice mm-hmm. into their relationships. And it is an evolution, right? Because when a child's little, they can't act on their own behalf, right? So you have 10, 12 years, sometimes 15 years of helping your child, defending your child, protecting your child. You're doing everything for your child, right? And now all of a sudden they want to have a voice. You have to evolve.
You have to accept it.
Yeah. We all need our heroes. You know, I remember when I was, a little bit older than 15, that Bobby Orr was somebody that I had a
Hero, did you say?
yeah,
Did
a
you say hero?
Hero. Yeah. There's a couple in this room, but anyways, it's somebody, he inspired me to be honest, to use the gifts that I have, and to understand that you're never going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes.
Whoa, that's a trigger word.
All right. So I bring that to our audience, and especially the audience in front of me, that perfection is not the goal of the radio station. What we see here is wonderful young people like Lorelei, wonderful not so old people like Sean, and then a dinosaur like myself who can go back and say, you know what, we have a lot in common.
Frank and myself might have met at the Dinosaur State Park in Connecticut. We used to go to that.
Yeah.
We love that place.
Yeah.
That was really a fun thing to do.
I'm afraid I might recognize my father there, so I don't think I want to go there. But that's just me.
So one thing that we learned today is we were very fortunate and had a couple of callers who were, same age as Lorelei.
That's right.
And they had an
Happen
interest.
to know them.
But you had a nice perspective to be able to hear not only Lorelei's view, but how Charlotte and Audrey, and Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, the third sister who wasn't there.
No, she was just silent.
She was silent.
She was
she talked a little
she was
bit.
the silent triplet.
Yeah.
So, but if anything from the show that we want to pass on to the listeners is that we care. Okay. And we care enough to have this show to be able to pass on information, not directly always from us, but from the listeners, from Lorelei. If anything, we're learning how to be better at whatever we choose to do. You don't go to work and say, hey, you know what, I'm just here, right? You go there and you say, hey, I got a job to do. You're right, Lorelei. You got to put in the work.
Same with when you're at home too.
Yes.
Here's my saying for last week that I said to the fathers, that I say to Lorelei and to Sean this morning. Inside every father, inside every daughter, there's a better one waiting to be born.
There really is. And that's an everyday way of looking at life, that you need to invest in yourself. You have to wake up in the morning and say, hey, what can I do to be better? Yeah. And part of that is, making the investments and not overcommitting, right? And so one of the things I really want to discuss is, as this last minute, I'd like the listeners to think, do one small thing this week with your child, okay? Yep. Especially with the teen.
Yep.
Just stop everything and just say, you know what? And if it turns out that it's TikTok or, Instagram Wednesday, it's a smart move.
Or listening to Elvis Presley.
Or listening to Elvis Presley. And Frank, I think you have the same moves as Elvis.
Well,
I think it was a competition.
In my day, I was a pretty good dancer of Elvis music.
So until next week, from Dadurday Radio, enjoy the day and good luck to the Patriots.
Go Patriots.
From the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
News, I'm Jack Callahan. Minnesota's Governor Walz mobilizing the state's National Guard as anti-ICE protests continue in Minneapolis.
It is likely that there will be more demonstrations today. We are entering week